All right. Recently, our colleague, technology advocate Cheryl Carroll, visited Wolcott Systems Group, an IBM business partner with a migration solution. Here's what she found out there.
The administrator runs the process, but the help desk can kind of move people around.
John, I want to talk to you about migration. The very term tends to strike fear in the hearts of administrators. What are some of the issues that surround migration?
Well, some of the pains of migration are related to the whole process management that goes along with it. Everybody has the skills needed to put up a new Domino server, for example, but managing all the tasks related to that get kind of painful, especially with the environment as easy as Notes has gotten to administrate. Many companies have taken the staff that manages the Notes environment and made it smaller and smaller, right? I mean, that was the selling point. Hey, boss, put us up on Notes, and once we're there, we can use less staff to manage the environment. Well, okay, they've gotten there, the staff has been reduced, and now they're ready to embark upon a migration or a deployment of the new version of the client, and they don't have the resources necessary to do that.
I kind of liken mail migration to changing the engine on a 747 while it's in flight. There's very little tolerance for disruptions, and it can be extremely difficult if you don't have the right experience and the right tools.
The Notes administrator has to shoulder the whole responsibility of managing the process. They have to keep a previous environment up and running. They need to deploy a new environment, do all the testing and everything else, do the necessary skills transfer so they can run that new environment. And then they have to keep the users happy and their managers happy with reporting and everything else. So the administrator has a lot of responsibility, and in some of today's environments with the smaller staff, so it can be really hard to do.
What release are most of your customers on?
Not all of our customers have made the move from Release 4 to Release 5. Many of them are waiting for 6. So about half of our customers are on 5, the other half are on 4, waiting to make that transition to 6 when 6 becomes available.
One of the very first things that has to happen is you have to get a handle on what's already in place in your infrastructure, how your PCs are configured, what their hardware specifications are, what versions of software are already out there. So one of the very first things tends to be getting an accurate inventory.
That sounds awfully labor intensive.
It can be, and we find very few organizations have a complete inventory at any given time, so we're typically starting from scratch.
What else makes it such a headache?
Training is a big one. A lot of organizations toss out a piece of technology without training the users. While that makes it a lot less expensive, the users kind of come away with a bad taste in their mouth. The second piece of it is communication. Users kind of feel like things are thrown at them if they don't hear about it up front or know what's going to happen and then get trained on the process.
If they're migrating from a legacy system to Notes and Domino, we may have to do data migration or conversion to move things that are in their inbox into their new mail system. All of those tasks affect the user at their desktop and therefore have to be closely managed, coordinated, and layered with communication so that there aren't any surprises. One of the most expensive things that we can do in an enterprise IT environment is actually send someone to the desktop. So automating installation or configuration tasks has a lot of real value. The same is true of the support side of the equation. If we can be proactive about client support, or if we can reduce the volume of support calls, we can have real impact on the cost of the project.
ADT is the implementation of our methodology. We've been working with Notes since version 2. And over the years, we've come up with a process that we use for deploying a particular piece of technology, whether that be Notes or something else. ADT is the implementation of the methodology with automation. So what we do is we provide you with a Notes-based solution that allows you to manage the process start to finish. The pieces that we manage are discovery, where you figure out where the user has enough memory and disk space in advance before giving them the new client, integration with training, automated client installation, even automatic mail file upgrade. So those steps managed through an automated process dramatically reduce the cost to a company actually making the transition to Note 6.
The dashboard is something that we're very proud of. The ability that a project manager or an administrator can have to get a snapshot view of where all of their users are in a migration process with a lot of details. We call it the CIO feature because you can answer any of the questions your CIO might have just by taking a look at the dashboard.
We won Lotus's Beacon Award for Best Tool Utility for our Automated Deployment Toolkit. Yeah, we're really excited about that.